took the flags and led the mobs. Why haven't they been brought to justice?
Because, very straightforward, the Indian state has protected them. There was a huge furore, you might recall, just a month or so ago, about the CBI, the leading criminal investigation agency of India, the so-called elite agency, having been ordered by the Supreme Court to investigate certain individuals who were widely suspected through eyewitness testimony of being leaders of the mobs. And they came out with a clean chit for one of the leading accused, a politician, a Congress politician called Jagdish Titla. Huge international outcry about him being given a clean chit. And it's obvious that people like him are being protected by the powers that be. Now, coming back to my point, it's not just Titla. There are people who in Punjab who carried out systematic human rights abuses. It's been documented, it's known. These people sometimes have even been foolish enough to come before the international press and say, yeah, we did it. Now, the point is, India has refused to tackle that injustice.
Yeah.
And the point...
Sorry, just to go back to the point, have you been present when these people have come up and said, yeah, we did it? Have you got, could you name, could you give us some names?
I've seen KPS Gill interviews and read the transcripts where he's said, we used extra-constitutional methods to deal with the insurgency.
What kind of, what do you mean? Could you, I mean, in plain English for people who are sitting home.
Well, in plain English.
What did they do that was so outside of their guidelines?
Within Punjab, Sikh youth in particular have been targeted, taken away from their homes, tortured, killed, bodies dumped in canals. The neighbouring state of Rajasthan actually complained at one stage that the canals were being clogged up with dead bodies floating down from Punjab. Then there were other means of disposing of bodies, secret cremations. This has been uncovered. Human rights activists in Punjab, one in particular, Jaswant Singh Khalra, who was then subsequently killed for doing this, he uncovered evidence by visiting the crematoria in several districts of Punjab and obtaining records which showed that unidentified bodies were being brought in by the police. The police said that it was not known who they were, and they were burnt. They were cremated. And this happened in thousands and thousands and thousands of cases. Because it got documented, it got referred to India's National Human Rights Commission. And the National Human Rights Commission, I mean, it's a contradiction in terms, this.
Yeah.
But the National Human Rights Commission looked at this evidence and didn't say, go and investigate who carried out these killings, punish the killers. What they said was, they limited the scope of their own involvement with this saga by talking about, should we give compensation to the families of those people who were killed in this way? So the idea of punishing the guilty is just not on the table as far as India is concerned.
But when you talk about young bodies of people, what kind of, are you talking about young children? I mean, were they just purely taken away because they were Sikhs, because they had gears? You know, what kind of ages are you talking about?
The majority of these people were young men. And the idea was to physically eliminate the movement that had grown up through the 1980s. Obviously, in '84, it mushroomed into a huge popular movement. And let's make no mistake about this. You know, even the Indian High Commissioner at one stage in this country, Kuldeep Nair, a very renowned journalist and writer, I mean, he said at the time of the whole uprising in Punjab that, you know, if there was a vote in Punjab today, the Sikhs would vote for Khalistan. And so this we're not talking about a one-off case of this person or that person being motivated towards Khalistan. We're talking about the general mass of Sikhs being pro-Khalistan and being therefore targeted and eliminated.
Okay, you mentioned Khalistan, so we're going to move on. Gar, here you go. A young gentleman living in England, Sikh state is Khalistan. Khalistan is made tomorrow. Will you leave England and go and live in Khalistan?
I think I would.
You
and I
think you would, or you would?
Well, I would, as long as the corrupt politicians in India weren't, they weren't the leaders, because that's the problem that we have. If we did have Khalistan, who's going to run it? You can't trust nobody in the Sikh leadership today. Sant Jarnail Singh's mission
So what you're
was...
saying in a way is that you don't want Khalistan.
I think even
Because you don't know
even
who's
in
gonna
eight,
run it
even
and
in
how
eight,
it would be run.
well, even in '84, what Sikhs were saying that if we don't mind staying in India, as long as we can live freely and we can practice our religion openly without discrimination. So Sant Jarnail Singh's mission was to wake up the Sikh nation. Unfortunately, 25 years later, we're still asleep, because if you look at the state of Punjab, Sikhi is getting destroyed. This is why Sikhi in maybe outside of Punjab is a bit more stronger. So what we have to look
Do you
at...
feel that events of '84 maybe damaged the Sikh movement that was happening in Punjab?
I think-
after '84 Punjab, the Sikhi women deliberately started to cut their children's hair so people wouldn't recognise their sons, and police wouldn't take them away.
I think what the main thing the Indira Gandhi and the India government wanted to achieve was to destroy the spirit of Sikhi in the people living there, so that, like you said, mothers will cut their kids' hair through fear. The Gurus have taught us to never cut our hair. It doesn't matter if we're getting tortured, because that's the examples they've given us. So the fear that was put inside a lot of Sikhs in India from 1984 was unbelievable, because there was a lot of people that went into Sikhi after that, but also there was a lot of people that went away from Sikhi because of the fear.
Yeah, Pyara Singh ji, obviously being involved in the Sikh Gurdwaras and the council, Khalistan, the monk for Khalistan, do you think there'll ever be a Khalistan?
Well, the way the things are, because I think it's the unity. I think it's actually proven that unity in Sikhs are little. Unless we are united on a one front, and we can actually get all together, we can actually, yes, achieve Khalistan.
Yeah.
But we got to work together on everything, on every issues. And unity is the strength. And if you haven't got the unity, we cannot tackle it.
Yeah, but do you feel from your congregations, from the Sangha, there's a need for Khalistan? Do you think there's a
Well,
need for Khalistan?
I think if you're coming from that point of view, some congregations will say no, there isn't a need.
Yeah. What do you say as the chairman of
personally,
Sikh
if you
Gurdwara?
want a freedom, if you want your human rights issues to be tackled, that is fairness, respect, equality, dignity, and autonomy, then you do need your own state.
But we get
definitely.
that here. You
Yes,
get that here.
yeah, we get
you're
that
a,
here.
You're a
Yeah.
qualified doctor,
Yeah.
a lot of respect,
Yeah, that's
you have
it.
your equal
That's
rights.
it. Yeah.
Why do you need Khalistan?
No. What I'm saying is, if we're talking about India, we're talking about that's where we're not getting the equality and
Right.
fairness. That's the human rights issues are got to be tackled in India. We're not talking about in this country, because we are given more freedom in this country to practice our religion. Doesn't matter who you are, because we are respected for who you are, not with the way we look or the way we are seen as, and we are given to practice freely whatever we want to do. And the security is there, because we can leave 2:30 in the morning in this country and go over to our destination. Are we getting that in India? No. So that's the type of things we get.
So Hurta Sahib, you're the man, you're taking that fight forward for Khalistan. Do you think there's a need for Khalistan?
I definitely think there is a need.
Lift your mic to it, that's it.
I definitely think there is a need for it. Not just because if you don't have your own home,